Hey guys, it's Alan. Today we're going to be reviewing this Jackson Soloist guitar. It's pretty cool. It's a shreddy guitar. Probably going to like it. Let's look at the details. All right, let's get right down to business. Reasons you'd want to buy this guitar. It stays in tune really well. It's a very smooth bending and playing experience. You could get way up here on the fretboard without any trouble at all because the nice deep cutaway, and it's got the neck through right there, which is awesome. Also, it's inexpensive. You could smash these things on stage once a year. You wouldn't feel so guilty about it. I think this is a really cool guitar, and it's a good middle ground between a shred guy and somebody who has more of a blues influence. So if you're kind of in between there, I think this would probably be the perfect type of guitar for you. This guitar was built actually through Court in Indonesia, but it's still under Jackson. It actually feels really comfortable for chords because it's a thick neck. The guitar definitely feels very smooth, especially up in the higher register, where normally I'd be waiting for an intonation issue. It's probably part to do with the neck through, I have a feeling, and also the Floyd Rose Special, made in China, I believe, on here, which to me, I mean, it feels great. It feels a lot like my homemade guitar bridge. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, before I get into more details and start going through some sounds here, I want to mention I'm using today, this is the Vpicks Snake guitar pick. This is basically my favorite pick that I've been using for a few years now, except for now this one is because it's a snake one. It has 3 tips. It's like the Dimension one that I've been using for years, but I especially like the unbuffed edges. There's something about that. I like the clarity of the sound of it when I play in the low ranges. And also, I feel like I get a little bit of that scraping feedback when I'm playing that I could really dig into the strings and feel it. You know, I get that nice experience out of it. I don't like it to slip around like I'm not doing anything. That seems weird to me. Now, this one I'm going to be using right now is a Mark V from Mesa Boogie, Channel 3. From Tone Junkie. Now, this is a pretty high gain one for what they normally offer. A lot of their sounds are more of a lightly pushed, and that's where they really shine. That's where their best sounds are. However, with this guitar, we want more of that rock feel, so I went with more gain. All right, so right off the bat, we're going to get into how fast can you play this thing. All right, when you're sliding up and down, there is that lacquer on it where, as you can see, I'm sticking just a little bit. Now, you can always sand that down, but who wants to deal with that? So if you're looking to change positions quick, that could be a slight issue, depending on how your hand is used to this stuff. Maybe you're used to this. Maybe you're good at it. For me, it does stick just a tiny bit. However, when I am changing positions, I typically will negotiate that. So if I was going, I just move my thumb slightly in advance. You know, you probably can't see that, so let me tip down. See how I just step the thumb out? So for me, it depends on the speed I'm trying to play it. It's typically not too much of an issue anyway. The next thing about this is when I'm picking, all the notes seem to have really good clarity in these pickups. So if I'm going up high, every single thing I'm doing, I could hear, you know? Down low, the same thing. So it doesn't feel like there's any issues with the fretboard. In fact, when I first started playing on this thing, it felt easier. There's something about it. When I was doing my Mozart little, that whole, it just felt a little bit more natural than most of the guitars I test out. Usually there's something I have to do to adjust. This just felt good. It's probably, I guess the frets might be a little bit wider than what I've been using on other guitars. Somebody said that makes it a little bit easier to play. I don't know why that would matter, but maybe that's going on. You get a little bit of curve radius going like that too on here, which again, that probably helps out for my chords. it feels more comfortable. A lot of the trouble I have on the thinner necks is after I'm playing 2 shows in a row, my hand starts to cramp up from basic bar chords. I mean, you could just go... only a couple times, and your hand starts to really start hurting on the like the Ibanez Gem, for instance, or my other Ibanez, because it's got the little wizard neck sort of thing going on. Big difference with a neck through, a huge difference besides the sustain, is that you could bring your hand all the way up here and it feels totally normal. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm working around. Normally I have to go like this and work around a huge block of metal behind the guitar, and this is right there. So there's no problem playing. Here's the bridge pickup with a Mark V setting. See how smooth that is? So when I dive bomb and come back, it's perfectly back in tune. It zeroes out really, really well, which is one of those big things for me because I like to actually play a little bit of melody sometimes. With the Whammy Bar, I have specific parts in songs where I'll pull it up to certain notes, and I had no trouble. In fact, this actually pulled up further than I expected. It went up a little bit more than a minor third than, like, say, the Jam or like that. So typically, it's risking it, but here. You get like a major third without really pushing it. I'm kind of afraid to do that. So that's really nice and smooth. You can hear my bends. There's no weird noises in between. Real smooth, almost like a Gibson type of feel. And then the other side of things, even though there's this gain, it's pretty high gain here, right? If you look down here, you can see like that's almost all the way there. And what happens, typically on a guitar amp with that much gain, you're gonna lose clarity in your chords. However, if I play major 7, you can still kind of catch all of those notes because the way the pickups. Now with the same tone, we're gonna go to the neck pickup and see what that sounds like. All right, so here we go. So it's a little bit creamier, and it's got that different profile to it. You can hear that, but... I feel like I'm losing a little bit of my gain. That happens. Now, if I go all the way with my tone knob off, still pretty good. Like, I could hear all those notes nice. A lot of times on my guitars, yep, that happens, which you can tell. I'm not screwing up. The pickup just can't handle. It doesn't have enough information. So let's put the tone knob back on. Now you start retaining the pick attack. All right, so that's not too bad. It's actually kind of nice. You get that punchy, the pick attack to it. So. Alright, so now let's go back to the neck, or sorry, yeah, let's go back to the bridge pickup and turn off our tone knob there and see how it sounds. I'm getting a little bit of that weird Kemper sound that happens when you turn down your gains on certain settings. If you have a really high gain setting. All right, so now let's try the middle pickup. Now this is gonna sound a little bit different. Even with this high gain, it seems to be more of a bluesy feel to it. Let's see here. That's pretty good. I like that in between. Let's compare it. Let's go back to the bridge. The bridge has a little bit more of that pick attack snap you get. Back to the middle. A little bit creamier into the neck. The neck has like maybe a scooped feel to it, actually. It's kind of weird. So that's a different variety of sound that you get used to. Now with this high gain, you're really not going to get a huge difference in the tone for the most part, unless you really start screwing with the tone knob. So now let's go to a lighter gain setting. Now we're going to do the Dr. Z Route 66 amp from Tone Junkie. This sounds like a little bit of that 80s type of tone. That's why I picked it. So it's less gain. It's like midway. So here's the sound of that with the bridge pickup. We got a little bit of stuff on there. That's cool though. All right, so you get that. Yeah, so you quiet that down. That sounds nice. This is a good guitar for that smooth blues playing on the classic rock to like a harder rock side. It's got a nice feel for that on the bends. I'm not sacrificing any playability or speed feel. Like I could play really easily, but it gets that cool tone. This is a good in between for me. I'm an Ibanez type of guy, but I like the feel and the sound, at least note wise, of like a Gibson where it kind of holds out nice. This seems like a really good compromise in the middle. I think that's one of the reasons I enjoy playing this one. All right, so now let's try that on the neck pickup. Let's try the middle. Yeah, it feels like we're losing a little bit of gain there. All right, now let's go to the top. Now the bridge with the tone off. That's making my playing kind of suck. Let's bring that back halfway. Seems like this tone knob's killing some of my gain. My homemade guitar doesn't do that so much. I get the tone. Probably could put like a pot mod or something like that, I bet. All right, so let's try that on this. So there's the bridge. Sorry. There's a neck pickup with the tone all the way off. It's good sustain. I have my noise gate on too. It's not bad. I get dynamics. middle with the tone knob all the way off. Up. This tone sounds good in that middle one too. All right, let's try an even lighter gain. See what we got here. Keep going. Keep going. Ooh, that's nice. What's that called? What is this? Okay, AC30. All right, so that's good. Let's try this. All right, guys, now we're gonna run through the Vox AC30 from Tone Junkie. This one sounds pretty cool. I put a little bit of delay on there to give it that edge sort of sound too, but we got this. That's pretty smooth. Now the neck. Well, that's my sustain on that end there. All right, now let's try the middle pickup. Whammy Bar has a really good feel. I mean, you can lock it in place nice and tight when you need. It still moves freely, though, and if you need to get out of your way, it doesn't move and just go crazy. It moves where you need. I love these types of Whammy Bar arms. You could just tighten them as you see fit and loosen them, and it doesn't clank around. It's a very nice, smooth feel. They all should be this way. All right, I had to go through a lot of trouble to get mine to work that way. That this is the one you push in. You could get that to happen, but this has more control. It's a simple engineering concept. You just tighten it or loosen it. So much better. So I love this sort of bridge. But going through this Whammy Bar, at least the way this is set up from the factory, it feels a little bit tighter than I'm used to, which might be a good thing because then I have a little bit more control. So if I'm going, you get that really fine vibrato. But you still have a lot of room, so. Now, it won't really get much of that. But you don't always need that. Plus, it stays in on you. Now, if you remove some of the springs, you'd probably get away with that a little bit better. A little bit more of that warble, but let's go to an even lower gain setting. All right, let's try go lower. real clean. Keep going. Keep going. What's that?
Marshall JTM45. There's these ones that have none.
Yeah, try those.
Oh, there's some with none.
Yeah, try those. Keep going. Oh, that one. Yeah, that one. What's that called?
Fender Vibrolux.
Vibrolux, okay.
It's from 1969.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go through a Fender Vibrolux 1969 model now. Also, Tone Junkie. This one sounds really cool for the funky side of things. So if we go... So you get a feel for that. That's the neck. All right, here's the middle. That's got some spank to it. I'm losing a little bit of the gain in the mids, or sorry, in the middle pickup, but that could be easily fixed by turning up your output. That's fine, but I'm just picking harder. But yeah, nice for chords. Wow. Again, I've been beating the hell out of this with the Whammy Bar too. It's pretty much staying in. Another good reason I need something like this to play shows, because you're not gonna keep switching guitars. I don't have like all that. I don't want to carry that many guitars with me anyway. But it's nice. See that? They're all in. All right, let's go to the neck. Sorry, the bridge. You get more of that quack tone. Not quite a Telecaster, but place. So it sounds good down here and up here. Could be just that it's a new guitar. I'm so used to these beat up guitars. But honestly, I think this has a lot of versatility to it. Overall, the sound or tonal profile to me has this lower mid-range thing that's getting pushed through a lot, which again, that reminds me almost of like the Gibsons I've been demoing. It's got a little bit of that sound to it, except on this bridge pickup, it's definitely got that like top end that cuts through, which again, that makes sense for the rock and metal music. So I can understand using this for a lot of different things. It is versatile. A lot of people try different things with switching up pickups, or they'll think, oh, I have to put this other thing in. This would be fine just right from the factory. I played this with the show. No problem. People thought it sounded nice. I thought it sounded really good. Everybody likes different types of guitars. If you're a shreddy type of guy that plays different genres, if you want an inexpensive guitar, either to throw around on stage or to just to keep for shows, so you don't have to worry about damaging like the most expensive instrument you have or anything. I think this is a really good middle of the road thing to be doing. Nice and comfortable. It plays well. The only thing that I noticed physically about it, besides that little bit of stickiness, is, at least for me when I'm standing up, there's a little bit of a weirdness going to the low E string. Just slightly, like right there. For some reason, it might have just been me I'm not used to the guitar, or I had it at the wrong height, strap wise or something like that. It's one of those things I'd have to work out and get used to, I bet. But there was something definitely different compared to my Ibanez. The lower E string up in this range, when I was playing like a scale or anything, when I went down here, right from this point, so the A and E string, there's something about reaching around. It's probably the neck size in the back. Again, you're gonna have one or the other, depending on unless you have like a compound thing going on. But down here, really comfortable for chords. It's easy to play your bends and stuff. But if you're doing the shred thing and you're getting down to this range, for me, it seems a little bit tougher. I don't know if that's just me, though. So keep a lookout for that. It's not, like, super difficult or anything. It's just, like, a little bit harder than I'd be used to. One thing, this is pretty common from the guitars from Indonesia, from what I hear. I don't know why that's a difference, but specifically here on the fine tuners, they stick right from the factory. They feel like they don't want to turn. They almost feel like they've been rusted shut. Not horribly, but I'm giving an example of, like, for instance, if you had a guitar and never did any maintenance for like 5 years, and if your name was Alan, because that's what happens to me, it'll start to like get sticky, and you're like, oh no, I can't turn the fine tuner, or it's like difficult, and you need to put some oil. That's what these come out of the factory like. So you just have to put. It's not a big deal. You just twist it all the way off, put some oil, twist it all the way on, maybe a little bit of oil, twist it back, and then you'll be fine probably for years. I didn't do that because I'm not going to mess around with the guitar. To try to make it better or improve it before I do an accurate assessment of it. So I just wanted to let you guys know what the reality is. And that's the real deal about this guitar right here. This Jackson Soloist guitar. It looks cool too. A bunch of girls kept coming up to me saying I'm really good looking only when I had this guitar. Typically they say I look real weird. But specifically when I was on stage with this one, they kept coming over whispering that they wanted to kiss me a lot. They said, I like to kiss your guitar. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this demo or review or whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, of this Jackson Soloist guitar. If you have a question, feel free to ask it. Whenever I get a chance to, I try to check comments and I'll answer it. If you have a comment, of course, leave the comment. Real important thing, though, people forget about this, and I sometimes forget. There's a little bell on here called the notification bell. If you click that, you could get notified when I have updates, because a lot of people say, wow, I don't know what happened. I haven't seen your videos in so long. I missed you. Well, hit the notification, and then you won't miss it. And even then, sometimes you do. I don't know. YouTube doesn't always update people. There's something weird going on. But do that. Also, subscribe to the channel. Well, of course, you have to subscribe if you're doing the notification bell, I think. So do all that stuff. Make sure to hit the like button. That thumbs up helps the statistics from what I'm told. So if you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. If you hated it, definitely hit the thumbs down. I don't know why you would hate my reviews. What? That's not good to say. I hope you like this demonstration of this Jackson Soloist guitar. I did. I had a lot of fun playing this guitar. Whenever I do a demo of these guitars, it seems like a couple of people come out and say, hey, I just bought the guitar. It's great. I love your excitement. So keep the comments coming. We got to buy all the guitars. I don't care what our wives say. That's sexist. I can't say that because a lot of girls play guitar now. They might have wives too, though. So I don't care what your wife thinks. You should buy more guitars if you have to. If you feel the need to buy a guitar, you could do it. Make sure to go to Magden Music and grab one of these guitars yourself, or many other instruments. In fact, they've got tons of accordions. Get an accordion.